This is WTAE-TV, Pittsburgh. Right now, Channel 4 Action News is everywhere.
And good evening. A dramatic series of events this afternoon in Wilkinsburg.
At this hour, 2 people are confirmed dead in the shooting rampage. We've got team coverage of this tragedy. From the children evacuated to safety, the victims still hospitalized, and the men and women who risked their lives to end the situation peacefully. Police say this is the man responsible, 39-year-old Ronald Taylor. Police say his rampage started at the Burger King. Then he proceeded across the street to McDonald's. The rest of the situation unfolded at an office building complex on Penn Avenue. Our Jim Parsons has been following this all afternoon. He joins us live from the scene. Jim.
Sally, it's the kind of story, as you know, that all communities dread. You watch it on television, you see it on ABC or CNN, and you say, you know, not here. Thank God it's not happening here in Pittsburgh or Wilkinsburg or wherever. Today it happened here. It's a bizarre tale that started with an argument over some maintenance work being done and ended and in between, 5 people shot, 2 people dead, 3 people in critical condition, and ended with a peaceful surrender to police negotiators. Dozens of people found themselves in the crossfire just before noon, fleeing the path of the gunman as he made his way through Wilkinsburg. Police say Ronald Taylor made 2 deadly stops, at a Burger King where he shot 1 person, then at a McDonald's on Penn where he shot 3. One local homeowner found herself face to face with the gunman.
And he told me to be quiet, be quiet. I started screaming. And he says, I don't want to hurt you. He told me, he said, I'll be leaving in about 5 minutes. I just want to get myself together. He says, I'll be dead in 10 minutes.
Taylor then barricaded himself on the first floor of an office building. Our cameras caught dozens of people in an outside parking lot ducking for cover.
It's very chaotic when you have that many agencies at a scene like that, when you have an individual that has hostages in a building and there's a viable threat.
As Taylor was cornered on the first floor, upstairs, a daycare center was evacuated. He surrendered around 2 o'clock. And as you heard that woman say, Ms. McCrae, that the gunman said that I'll be dead within 10 minutes. Obviously, he thought this was going to end with either police shooting him or he shooting himself. It did not end that way. And fortunately, tonight, some small consolation. Police have a man to interview and maybe get some answers as to why all of this happened. And 2 people are dead and 3 are in critical condition. Reporting live from Wilkinsburg, Jim Parsons, Channel 4 Action News.
So often in these cases that doesn't happen, so it is small consolation. Thanks, Jim. Mike?
Sally, our coverage continues now with Ted Coppy, who is live at Montefiore Hospital with the latest on the shooting victims and the shooting survivors. Ted.
That's right, Mike. Doctors held a news conference here late this afternoon. Still, all the family members of the victims involved have not been notified, so they're not releasing the names of the living victims. However, we do know the identity of the 2 victims who were killed this afternoon in this whole ordeal. This is what we have right now. One victim brought here to UPMC around 11:45 is dead. His name is John Kroll, 55 years old, from Cabot, Pennsylvania. He was shot in the lower neck. Now, 3 others are in critical condition at this hour at UPMC Presby. They each suffered one gunshot wound. One of those victims was shot in the head, took a bullet to the brain, and is comatose right now. Doctors say his prognosis is poor. The other 2 at UPMC doctors are waiting to see over the next few hours. They were both conscious when they came in. At Mercy Hospital, 1 victim died. Joseph Healy, a 71-year-old man from Wilkinsburg. He was shot in the head. Meantime, back here at UPMC, doctors say the first victim, John Kroll, came in with no vital signs, and they were unable to revive him.
The first victim that I described had sustained a gunshot wound which led to injuries of blood vessels and to his right chest, which led to his death.
As for those 3 remaining victims, they were brought here. Their range in ages from 20 to the 50s, but they're not identifying those people nor their ages. Still a lot of concern here tonight at UPMC Presby Hospital. Reporting live in Oakland, Ted Coppy, Channel 4 Action News.
All right, Ted, thank you very much. There are, of course, emotional traumas as well stemming from this nightmare.
Imagine the terror of parents whose children were in that daycare center, so close to where Taylor held his hostages. Sean Yancey joins us now. Sean, did the parents know at the time that their kids were actually safe?
Sally, the good news is many parents told me that they were able to call the daycare center throughout the whole ordeal on their cell phones. They were able to talk to workers who reassured them their kids were okay. Imagine knowing your kids were trapped in a building with a gunman inside and there was nothing you could do about it. That's what these parents were feeling as they watched and waited. Then finally, some relief after seeing police lead their children to safety.
My daughter called me from work and she said there's been a shooting in Wilkinsburg, and she said, and it's around the learning tree. And I just ran out the school to come over here to see if they were all right.
Rose Lester ran to make sure her grandkids were okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to hold them and take them home.
Katisha Lewis works in the building next door to the daycare center. She felt helpless knowing her daughter was inside.
Just worried about my daughter. I just wanted to run next door and get her, actually.
Linnell Brown was also next door. Her 3-month-old baby girl inside too.
I kept calling the daycare. She said that they were okay, you know, but I was just still nervous.
We were all in one room and everybody was lying down on the floor.
Barbara Williams is the supervisor of the Learning Tree School. In addition to calming parents, she had nearly 40 kids ages 6 weeks to 6 years to keep safe.
Yes, everybody's fine. Thank God.
And that is the good news. Some other good news tonight. All the children and all the workers inside the daycare center were checked out. They are all okay. Most of the children didn't even know what was happening. Sally?
Thank goodness. Well, so just who is this suspect, Ronald Taylor? Paul Van Osel is live at Wilkinsburg Police Headquarters with more on the suspected gunman. Paul, a lot of questions being asked about this guy's background.
A lot of questions were asked here, Sally, just hours ago at a news conference. We were asking police what they knew about the suspect, and they were divulging very little. They say they really don't have a motive. At least they're not saying that they have a motive right now. And they say they've had no contact with Ronald Taylor here and in Wilkinsburg. But one thing police do know is that Taylor, they say, went on just a harrowing rampage earlier this afternoon at the McDonald's.
There was an individual sitting in a vehicle in front of McDonald's with a passenger. It was a female. He walked up to that individual and shot him in the head. The female jumped out and ran for Dunkin' Donuts to use the telephone to call. He then walked around to the other side of McDonald's, went inside, shot an individual behind the counter, then walked back outside. There was a person sitting at the drive-thru, shot him in the head.
After leaving the McDonald's, the suspect fled to the nearby Penn West office building, firing twice at police. 125 people were evacuated, including 37 children. Police isolated the suspect in a corner office and found themselves in a tense standoff.
Pointed the gun. He actually pointed at the officers. The officers were right down the hallway from him, just, as I said, covered and concealed. But he would level the gun up at them, point right at them, and they're, again, uncommon restraint.
So why didn't police shoot at the suspect? Well, Chief Brewer says they have a very rigorous policy here of avoiding a loss of human life at all costs, although he said there is some second guessing going on right now based on what they now know about this suspect and what he actually did this afternoon. The chief did say one other thing, that during the standoff between police and the suspect repeated several times that he was planning to commit suicide. He said at one point, "I'm already dead." We're live here in Wilkinsburg. I'm Paul Van Osdal.
All right, thanks very much. Ominous. Thanks. Our Nina Pineda talked to one of the people held hostage and some of the witnesses in the shooting incident. She was actually inside the police perimeter during all of the events. Nina joins us live from the shooting scene. Nina, what did the hostages say?
Sally, they gave such a chilling account about the gunman who calmly sauntered into their office, gave and started bragging about how many people he killed, and then started giving orders.
He said, "I have one bullet left. Which one of you should I use it on? I'm going to use this bullet."
After saying that, the gunman held his handgun to one of his 3 hostages' heads, saying he was going to terrorize her.
Her face, I think, showed the most fear, and he said, "You look like a smart white," and he took the gun from his side and moved it this way.
But then seemed to quickly change his mind.
Didn't seem like on drugs or anything, though. He just seemed calmly mad, very mad, but not raging. He busted out of the door past me, and he went right here after Dr. Freeman.
After the suspect ran down this hallway, he went out those doors, but he couldn't get any further because both sides were sealed off by police and the elevator wasn't working. Without knowing where he was in the building, police anticipated fire as they took former hostages and others from the building to safety. Once outside, they had no idea who was left behind.
I know one is hiding in a bathroom now, one of our co-workers, but he had let her go. He told her, "Not you, sister," and Barb is black, and he let her go, and she went in one of the bathrooms to hide.
and the co-worker that was hiding in the bathroom, and several other people from other offices were crouching on the floor and waiting until police gave them the go-ahead and leave the building. But as you can see from that hallway, that's where the surrender actually happened. Right behind the doctor's office is where police were able to quadrant him off and force the surrender. Back to you, Sally.
All right, thanks very much, Nina. Indiscriminate mass shootings, now too much a part of the fabric of our society.
There's a tragic irony as well that tonight the Safe Start Project is scheduled to begin. It's a program for kids who witness violence. Our Shannon Perrine joins us now after talking to the project's chairperson, Mrs. James Roddy. Often social workers call this kind of violence a teachable moment for kids.
Yeah, if you can take anything out of it, maybe it's a lesson. Now, today's events just underscore how much we need something like Safe Start. Here's what it is: a network of experts and community volunteers set up around Allegheny County just to help kids who experience violence. A terrifying situation for grown-ups, let alone kids. The impact of this trauma can last a lifetime.
Evidently, it can be very damaging to young children now and later in life if they don't get some kind of help. A lot of juvenile delinquency comes from events like today, can come from it, if there is not parental guidance and understanding and help in the community.
Kids exposed to this kind of violence can go through the same thing abused kids do.
Through research in our county, they think there are 16,000 children who have been involved in some kind or witnessed some kind of violence. And no, there's not a lot of help available.
Roddy says if we can get to them, we can help them.
It is so frightening to think of what is happening to our children. And the children in this county are so important to all of us and to the future. We have to think about the future, and our children are the future, so.
Now, experts say kids who witness violence of any kind are 60 times more likely to become delinquents and 1,000 times more likely to become adult abusers. Now, the details of where these safe centers are going to be and how you can get involved, that's all going to come out later. Tonight is just the kickoff, but a very important kickoff, as we can see.
Those numbers are staggering.
It is.
Oh.
Thank you, Shannon. Now, in light of what happened today, the Christian Church in Wilkinsburg is holding an anti-violence vigil tonight at 7 o'clock at the church on Wallace Avenue. Keep it here on Action News for continuing coverage of this tragedy.
And if you witness today's events and feel you need someone to talk to, Mike, therapists from the Allegheny Mental Health Associates are in our studios right now to take your call. The number is area code 412-243-6000.
We should let you know these professionals can offer you help and support to anyone struggling to deal with the grief and shock of what has been a very terrifying day here in our community.
Coming up, a young girl attacked by a pit bull. What is going to happen to the dog's owner?
Also ahead tonight, a murder cover-up. Police search for the person who stabbed a woman, then set her on fire.
And there we have Sky 4 over the West End with a shot of the Golden Triangle. Spring temperatures taking a break. Meteorologist Stephen Cromper is working on the updated DiNardo forecast.
This WTAE-TV Mark in Time is presented by Dollar Bank. Chester Carlson invents the copying machine, the principles of nuclear fission are discovered, and a national minimum wage is established. The year will tell you when we return.
What's the strength of a dollar? Money is economic energy. When distributed, it has the power to fuel all manner of enterprise. Since 1855, Dollar Bank has invested billions of dollars in millions of lives and thousands of businesses in Western Pennsylvania, creating a currency of growth and opportunity. That's the strength of a dollar.
Xerography is invented. German chemist Otto Hahn discovers nuclear fission, and 25 cents an hour is the minimum wage in 1938. A WTAE-TV Mark in Time. This is Adam Lynch with the Pittsburgh Century.
Channel 4 Action News at 6 is everywhere. Live with Sally Wiggin, Mike Clark, Chief Meteorologist Joe DiNardo, and Meteorologist Stephen Cromper. Action Sports with Andrew Stockey. Right now, Action News at 6 continues.
In the other news of the day, a murderer tried to cover up his crime by setting his victim on fire.
It happened in Penn Hills near Beechford Road and Blackador Avenue. Sky4 was above the scene as police and homicide detectives searched for evidence. Penn Hills firefighters discovered the young woman's body after they put out a trash fire. Police don't know her identity, but they do know her height was about 5'2" to 5'4", and she had a thin build.
That's the first investigation we do, is to try to locate any missing persons or have anyone call us who may know who this person may be or has missing persons that may fit this general description.
Police confirm the woman was stabbed to death and the killer covered the body with hillside debris before setting it on fire.
A 6-year-old girl is home tonight recovering from a vicious pit bull attack in Washington County. Chiara Mareschi of Bell Vernon was playing in the Charleroi Municipal Park, that's along the Monongahela River, Saturday, when the 8-month-old female dog attacked. The girl was bitten several times and knocked to the ground. The dog was later put to sleep and tested negative for rabies. The dog's owner, Stephen Chestnut, was charged with reckless endangerment.
The dog was totally out of control. He was just like on a tear. He just wanted to grab somebody and just rip them to pieces. That was the attitude that he had.
The little girl suffered several puncture wounds and required stitches on her ear. Meteorologist Stephen Cropper joins us now with a look at our weather.
Yeah, Mike, gray day today, signaling changes coming our way that will include some colder temperatures. More seasonal. We'll detail the leftover rain showers in the cold air coming up. Well, the spring weather's gone for a couple of days at least. Outside showers moving in today and some colder air hot on our heels. Across the area, still rather overcast, but most of the steady showers have ended across the triangle. 41 to start this morning. Still a very mild 58 for a high temperature today. 25 and 42 the normals. We pulled out a 16-degree warmer than normal day with that warm temperature of start and also a finish. Overcast sky, 8 miles visibility. Pittsburgh International still carrying a 51 now. 76% relative humidity, but note the winds. They are now in from the west at 17. Gust at 28, the westerly wind there indicating the front is through. Colder air on the way as the barometer continues to rise. Showers are still with us in a couple of waves. First batch moved through early this morning, then we had some downtime as far as the rain went. Second batch now beginning to work to the east, and it looks like the back edge is just beginning to cross northern Allegheny. Drop you in a little closer on live pinpoint radar, and we'll show you that line that's just across the northern parts of Allegheny County, also stretching up near Butler County, southern Butler, and into eastern Beaver. So the lingering showers will be gone within the next hour or so as they continue to work to the east. Back to the maps, though, we are left with some upstream cloud cover that will stay with us. As we go back to the Triton, we'll take you through the extended period. Cloud cover will stay with us as most of the air back to the west is still rather moist, and we will continue to draw in some cold air across the lakes that will set up the chance for a few flurries. Note the mark there, colder air already spilling into Detroit, also through Marquette. So we will see temperatures falling tonight, not recovering much tomorrow, although we will see eventually tomorrow night a little more clearing. High pressure working its way, trying to clear things out. Will eventually be here by Friday morning, so we'll see a little more sunshine as we get into the day Friday. Then, too, we will see a shift in the winds, drawing in another milder flow for the weekend. So not all bad. 24-hour Donardo weather watch in the near term. Could still be a stray shower for the next couple of hours, then a sprinkle or flurry possible. Numbers plummet to 35. Back tomorrow, mostly cloudy day with a snow flurry possible. Temperature all the way up near 40, and then by tomorrow night, 24 as we clear things out. Friday looks good, nice start, some sunshine, warm it up to 45, then thickening clouds late during the day. It looks like in the extended forecast, the next system stays to our south, so we end up with just an intervals of clouds and sunshine kind of day for Saturday on the dry side, 55 on Sunday, and warming all the way back to 63 on Monday.
Today was school day, and Stephen and I traveled north to Bellevue Elementary. We were greeted by Mrs. Ondeck, the principal, members of the school board, and the entire student body. Following lunch, we spoke to 475 students, kindergarten through the 6th grade. Bellevue Elementary is part of the Northgate School District, serving 1,750 students. Dr. Baldesser is superintendent of schools. Bellevue Elementary is very proud of their Asset Science program, which is hands-on and includes an in-depth 9-week study of various subjects, including weather, electricity, sound, and physics. They are also very proud of their Fine Arts program, which includes dance, visual arts, music, and drama, culminating with a program called Arts Odyssey 2000 in March. Our thanks to all of the students, parents, teachers, and staff for a great school visit and excellent questions from all grades. Thanks for their generous contribution to Project Bundle Up, and the cake was outstanding. Next week, it's Patterson Primary in Beaver County.
Rough weather flying back. We'll have also at 11 a song that they wrote for Joe. Two songs. We'll try to sing it for you.
Thank you,
very much. We're looking forward to that. Tonight at 11, continuing coverage of the Wilkinsburg shooting. John Greiner just spoke with the chief negotiator in this hostage situation, and he's live working on that part of the story. John, what'd you find out?
Well, Sally, it took 2 hours of negotiation to get the suspect to finally give up. What was it that the negotiator said to him that made him give up? We'll hear about that at 11. Right now, the negotiator describes to us how it all ended.
And down the hall towards me along with a knife. I then told him to stand up and come halfway down the hall and then to turn away from me. And I explained that there would be officers approaching him from behind. They weren't going to hurt him. They were just going to take him into custody. And that's what he did, and it ended at that.
Sergeant Fisher says all they promised Ronald Taylor were some cigarettes and some bottled water. More on what made him give up tonight at 11 o'clock. For now, live from Wilkinsburg, John Greiner, Channel 4 Action News. Back to you.
What a job to have. All right, thanks very much, John.
And we'll be right back with Action Sports.
And the issue of race making headlines in sports tonight.
That's right. Braves pitcher John Rocker really making headlines tonight.
That's right. Already in the center of a controversy over race and some comments he made. And tonight, relief for John Rocker. An arbitrator has cut the pitcher's suspension in half, from 28 days down to 14. Also reducing his fine from $20 grand to just $500. Baseball suspended the reliever for comments he made to Sports Illustrated, critical of foreigners, minorities, and homosexuals. Rocker plans to address his teammates at camp tomorrow and then meet with the media. Well, surprise, surprise. The Steelers officially signed free agent quarterback Kent Graham today. Also made official Graham's place in Pittsburgh's pecking order.
He looked at this as an opportunity to come in as a solid number 2, and then, you know, he will compete. There's no question about that, and he's a very competitive guy. He won't accept being number 2, but he'll go about it in the right way. So I look for a lot of good competition between he and Cordell, but obviously Cordell's coming back as the incumbent.
And I feel like I'm going to fit real well in with the Steeler organization, and so, you know, I'm excited about it because I think my mentality is kind of the same type of mentality the Pittsburgh Steelers have, and so I think I'll feel real comfortable.
Now, will the Steelers make a big play for Willie Clay? The Hill District native, who hosts an annual football camp here in town, was home this afternoon to visit with the team and interview as well. Formerly with New Orleans, Clay is now a free agent safety looking for work.
Man, it would be special. I mean, you know, that's a dream. It'll be a dream come true if we can get something done. You know, growing up and being a big Pittsburgh Steeler fan, and even though I play ball in the NFL, I'm still a Steeler fan. It would be great. You know, it'd be great, and you know, just definitely come home and help them kind of turn it around and, you know, kind of resurrect my career.
And in hockey tonight, the Penguins in Calgary, and also some pretty big high school basketball games. We'll have it for you at 11.
All right, we will see you then, Andrew. Thanks.
And that's Action News at 6. Thanks for joining us.
Join us at 11 for continuing coverage of the Wilkinsburg shooting. President Clinton is reacting to the situation as well as local leaders. We'll see you then.
Good night.
This has been a presentation of WTAE-TV and Channel 4 Action News. Everywhere. Later tonight on Action News, angry words lead to deadly violence. A man terrorizes this local neighborhood, firing bullets, taking hostages, and taking lives.
He got mad at the guy, evidently, and shot him point-blank range in the neck.
I was just shook up because I really thought he was going to shoot me.
You at 11 relive the anxious moments as a negotiator tells us how he talked the gunman into surrendering and what pushed the shooter over the edge. Learn how local police kept these kids safe. All tonight on Action News at 11.